Showdown in Saskatchewan. Calgary was in top form last week against Ottawa.
Grey Cup finalists flexing their muscles in Calgary.
A dominant performance at both ends of the field against the Red Blacks. Now Calgary looks to move ahead of their rivals from Edmonton. Meanwhile, the Riders hope that a week off helps them forget their latest heartbreaking loss, this time against the Argos.
And the Roughriders fall short again.
Will Calgary stampede its opposition again, or will Saskatchewan's rough ride of a season take a turn for the better? The CFL on TSN is next. It's the Hall of Fame game at Mosaic Stadium. Here are two of the 7 inductees who feel right at home. Former Riders Eddie Davis, Gene Mikowski, Dave Dickinson, offensive coordinator with the Stampeders, but a Hall of Fame player. Won Grey Cups in both Calgary and with the BC Lions. And here's his understudy, future Hall of Famer, perhaps? Hey, his career's had a good start. Bo Levi Mitchell, last year's Grey Cup MVP, and he's third in the CFL in passing yardage this year. He's not thrown a pick in 131 passes. We say hello and welcome you as Week 9 continues in the CFL on TSN. I'm Rod Smith. We do wonder if the run of futility for the Saskatchewan Roughriders will continue. They're up against a tough team in this one today. Here's the panel. Jock Climby is back along with Milt Stiegel and Chris Schultz. And yes, you look at the standings, it's bleak. The Riders are 0-7, and to many, their season, based on history, is already a write-off. And yet, if they could beat the Stampeders, if they could find a way, Jock, there are a couple of teams struggling ahead of them in the West Division. Would there be any glimmer of hope for the Saskatchewan team?
It's amazing to think that an 0-7 team has a chance, but they do. No 0-7 team has ever made the playoffs. They could do it. I mean, if any 0-7 team could do it, they could, because they're actually a good football team. They're the top offense in the league. They're in almost every ball game. And, hey, they've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2 weeks, in 2 games coming up. They have Ottawa in 2 games coming up. The next 5 weeks will be crucial for this team. If they can take 3 of 5, BC Lions are very catchable. Winnipeg catchable. Yes, they can do it.
You know, I agree. You know, it may sound insane that an 0-7 football team really isn't that bad, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders do have hope. But what they got to do tonight, they got to continue to get a progression and improvement from their quarterback, Brent Smith. They have to eliminate penalties, not just reduce them, but eliminate penalties. And the other issue is takeaways. They only have 2 takeaways so far this season. Now, why is that so significant? Hamilton has 30 takeaways. That's why they right now are the best, and the Riders are down here. But I'm telling you, Rod, at 0-7, they have hope.
They do, although, boy, the Stampeders are on a roll. They absolutely pounded Ottawa last week.
And they're playing some great football. And the main reason is their quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell. In years past, this offense has been predicated on the run game first, pass game second. With all the injuries with the offensive line and John Cornish being out, it's all about Bo Levi Mitchell. Last year, the passing game counted for 62% of the offense. This year, 76%. Last 4 games, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Bo Levi Mitchell was doing a great job.
And they have a chance to take over sole possession of first in the West with the Eskimos losing to Hamilton last night. So we're getting set for kickoff. And Doug Martin of Saskatoon, you could win the ultimate $25,000 home theater package from Visions Electronics if a kickoff is returned for a touchdown in this game thanks to Safeway's Touchdown to Win promotion. And if it happens for a second time in this game, you can also win $1 million. Doug, good luck with that. Off to Regina, Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Rod. Threatening sky, sellout crowd at Mosaic as the Stampeder rivalry with the Riders is renewed, and the Canadian football greats of the past are honored in the Hall of Fame game.
In the last 3 games, Bo Levi Mitchell has thrown for 900 yards and 5 touchdowns. He has found that 2014 form, 20-4 as a starter, but this is his first start here at Mosaic Stadium. On the other sideline, Brett Smith is 0-2 as a starter for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but before the bye, his last game against Toronto threw for 298 yards. A very good game for Brett Smith. This is his first start here at Mosaic Stadium.
Yeah, Corey Chamberlain's Riders do come off the bye looking for a fresh start. Riders were 2-0 following a break last year. And John Hufnagel's Calgary Stampeders can claim sole possession of first in the West with a victory. It's their first of 6 consecutive games against divisional opponents. Calgary's won 4 straight against Saskatchewan, 11 of the last 13. And Calgary will get the football and the win. They won the toss and deferred, but will have the wind at their back. Here in the opening quarter as Tim Brown returns it up to the 40. It is a stiff breeze, 35K gusting to 50.
Take a look at the starters to watch. I wanted to look at Bo Levi Mitchell's receiving core. Joe West, big game for him. His best of the 2015 campaign with 54 yards, but had a real nice touchdown against Ottawa. Eric Rogers has 5 straight touchdowns in 5 straight games and 5th in the CFL, just behind Rogers, his teammate Marquay McDaniel.
Different look to the offensive line. John Estes is in, and a fake to Matt Walter. First pass is complete to Eric Rogers, brought down quickly by Marche Green. Second start of the year, and Green moves from the corner now inside the defensive half.
Yeah, he'll play the halfback spot. They get Brackenridge, and they're going to move him down from the safety spot to the linebacking core. Mark Legree will play free safety for Brackenridge tonight, and they get Tristan Jackson back. So a very different secondary in this game than the one we saw before the bye in Toronto.
5 different position changes on the defense for Saskatchewan, and a second down completion. Back-to-back catches for Eric Rogers, who came into the game just 54 yards short of the league lead in receiving.
I just want to know if he can keep this streak alive. 5 straight games with a touchdown in each one of them. Can he keep it alive here on the road at Mosaic Stadium? Just sits down in the curl, and Brackenridge from the linebacker spot coming over to assist in that tackle.
Hard to believe the Stampeders without a first possession point this year. And a throw in the flat complete to Marquay McDaniel. And he stretches out for another first down.
Just his 25th start for Bo Levi Mitchell. And I asked him about starting for the first time here in Mosaic Stadium, and he quickly reminded me before the game that he's played a lot here. Came in as a backup, and he's got lots of reps here at the stadium, so it's not a big surprise for him, and he understands the crowd element as well. But he has been playing very well over the last 4 weeks.
Here's Matt Walter up into the backfield. Alex Hall shoots the gap and brings down Walter for a loss back at the 45.
2 defensive ends for Saskatchewan. Took a lot of heat early in the season as this losing streak began. Alex Hall was not off to a good start, but he's played very well last 3 games. 4 sacks. It's not just about sacks. He's getting up the field too, and that was an example of it.
Walter with 40 and 41 yards rushing in his 2 starts since John Cornish went down with a broken thumb. 2nd and long, and they'll hitch it to Joe West, and West is stopped just inside the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. There's Tyron Brackenridge at his new spot, which I guess was his old spot.
Well, and that's where he started, but he quickly moved to safety a few years back, and he's been at safety for a couple of years now. And also,
but it's a whole lot better than it was a few hours ago here. Pouring rain earlier in the day in Regina. Brett Smith gets set to go to work in his first start. Little mix up here, but hands it off, and Jerome Messam takes off across the 40 and has 7.
I mentioned the 298 yards passing for Brett Smith before the bye against Toronto. Probably would have had over 400 if not for the penalties committed by the offense in that game. And there's Weston Dressler. Wasn't in the lineup for that one against the Argos. Is back in the lineup tonight. And there'll be one change on the offensive line. Randy Richards will play right tackle for Levi Adcock.
No Chris Getzlaff, who had 2 touchdowns in the last game against the Argos. 2nd and 3, and straight ahead, Messam will plow for a first down.
Good idea to get started right there with Jerome Messam, pound him inside. Let's see the defense he's facing. Veteran group for the Calgary Stampeders, led by Juwan Simpson. His 100th career start in the middle for the Calgary Stampeders. Junior Turner, big game last week, had a sack and 3 tackles, was the dominant force. One more start than his buddy beside him, Juwan Simpson. Keon Raymond, the playmaker in that linebacking core.
Stampeders number 3 in yards surrendered. And now Miller into the game at running back. And he was effective with 8 carries for 54 yards in the game against Toronto.
Effective, a good changeup, but I'll be surprised if the Riders don't just go with the steady diet of Jerome Messam and take a page out of the book of the Montreal Alouettes and what they did to the BC Lions.
So 3 for Stephen Miller, 2nd and 7. And Smith looking for Dressler, incomplete. Looked like a drop by Dressler with Brandon Smith, the veteran, in the neighborhood.
I think Brandon Smith played the ball and got his hand on this. It was an out route by Weston Dressler trying to get the ball to him early, but a nice close, and you see he just stripped with the left hand. Nice play by Brandon Smith, the veteran of 8 years on that one, looking for his first pick of the year.
Just turned 31 yesterday, and here's Ray Early booting it into the breeze with Tim Brown back. And it's Brown at his 28, and he gets swung around but stays upright and now gets tackled at the 34-yard line. 31-yard punt into the wind, and 5 on the return. Eric Rogers already a couple of catches in this game, looking for a touchdown catch in his 6th consecutive start. Honored to be doing the Hall of Fame game. Our congratulations to the inductees. Leroy Blue, Eddie Davis, Dave Dickinson, Gene Mikowski, Bob Wednaw, Larry Rita, and Bob Obilovich. And we'll salute all these gentlemen today. Great festivities up in Saskatoon the last couple of days. And to be honored here at halftime, Matt Walters got the football and gets brought down just across the 35-yard line. I don't remember the last time we did a Hall of Fame game where one of the inductees was right in the middle of the fray like Dave Dickinson.
No, absolutely not. I don't recall ever a coach on the sideline inducted into the Hall of Fame and then had to go to work. But we have had our Matt Dunnigan, who was inducted while he was on our panel.
We gave him a night off, though.
Yeah, I think we gave him a night off. A couple nights I think he needed.
2nd and 6. And Mitchell throws it. Skips short of the target. Flag on the play in the Stampeder backfield. Dave Foxcroft's in charge. Markway McDaniel was the intended target. And the penalty against Calgary likely to be declined.
The illegal block, it looks like, against Calgary. They're giving Corey Chamberlain the options. Incomplete pass.
With the wind, do you consider maybe taking yardage?
Illegal block, hands to the face, Calgary number 66. That penalty's declined. It will be 3rd down.
They won't.
Yeah, absolutely not. Get the ball back. And it'll force the Calgary Stampeders to punt. Decline the penalty, but a good start for the Rider defense.
There's the newcomer, Estes. Now 2 non-imports on the offensive line for John Hufnagel, so he had to make some adjustments this week. Neighbor, who had a terrific game last week with the boot. It'll be Miller on the return. The speedster gets away, bounces off contact again, up across the 40. Well, this is a team that has struggled. 12 yards was the longest punt return of the season. That's a 29-yarder for Stephen Miller after a 59-yard punt. Speaking of the Hall of Famer, there's the star of the class of 2006.
Best return of the year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Stephen Miller. First of all, he has 30 yards in front of him when he catches the ball because of the wind and the fact that Calgary outkicks the coverage a little bit here. And then watch the focus and concentration. This has been a team that has had some penalty issues and all in good position.
So on first down, swing it out, and Weston Dressler gets bounced back the other way. And he's got some blocking here and ends up being tackled by Junior Turner at the 45. So when it looked like a loss, he has a couple. Did not play in the last game against the Argos. That's catch number 498 for Weston Dressler in his career. Alex Carroll into the game. And 2nd and 7. Here comes pressure. Smith gets out of there and is tackled short of the first down. Brett Smith, 68 yards rushing in his first 2 starts. Stopped there by Jawan Simpson. And the punt team has to come on.
That's one of the upsides for Brett Smith, his ability to get outside and his ability to run. And I think if there's a question and what people want to see a little more of is him standing in the pocket. Now, he couldn't there. It collapsed around him.
I was going to tell him at halftime.
So early to punt. Tim Brown awaits around the Calgary 30. Good boot. And Brown finds a little crease there and gets stacked up before he gets to the 40. Keenan McDougall back in the Saskatchewan lineup in amongst the tacklers.
48-3 win for the Calgary Stampeders against the Ottawa Red Blacks. They offensively took advantage of some turnovers on the teams by Ottawa early on, got great field position, and then Bo Levi Mitchell went to work. A couple of big throws to Joe West. That was his touchdown. But Mitchell, in the last 4 straight games without an interception, and in the last 3, 890 yards passing. He is back.
And Mitchell throws to the sidelines. A catch is made by Jeff Fuller. Tyron Brackenridge in the vicinity.
Like his Hall of Fame offensive coordinator, Bo Levi Mitchell is putting together great statistics when you take a look at his career, and maybe most importantly, that touchdown interception ratio, 43-17. And that reminds you of his offensive coordinator, Dave Dickinson.
Dave Dickinson, 154 TDs and 51 interceptions, 3-to-1 ratio. And a pass on 2nd down, and the catch is made again by Rogers. Terrell Mays in coverage. And that's 3 catches already for Rogers on the day. Into Rough Rider territory. Actually, they're going to mark it right at midfield.
Crossing route, inside slot back position for Eric Rogers, and he's just going to run away. That's a tough one to cover for Terrell Mays. And by the way, Terrell Mays really the only defensive back remaining in that secondary at the start of the season at that halfback spot.
1st and 10. And Mitchell dumps it off. Pass incomplete, intended for Walter as they try and check it down.
But what has been remarkable about this Saskatchewan defense, and is really hard to explain, is the fact that in 7 starts, they have just 2 turnovers.
That stat is more mind-boggling than any other this season in the CFL.
Without question, and it's a record pace. Edmonton Eskimos of 2006 had just 25 turnovers. That's the record. Saskatchewan at this pace would crush that.
2nd and 10. Mitchell pumps. Simpson now underneath again for Walter, and he gets upended. Terrific tackle made there by the newcomer, Don Unamba, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Made some noise in practice this week, and he'll be in situationally for the Roughriders on defense.
Well, Unamba with a great tackle in the open field, because Walter just did get a chance to turn around, but didn't have the time to make a move. I've seen him, Unamba, also make a play on the special teams already tonight.
Rob Maver will come in to punt. They're not going to try a 57-yarder with a breeze at the back of the kicker. He'll look for the corner, as he did so effectively against Ottawa, but this one will go through for a long rouge. A 70-yard single for Maver. And the Calgary Stampeders have a 4-0 lead under 4 minutes remaining first quarter. Corey Chamberlain, different tactics to try and rev up his crew with more. Here's Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yesterday, he took the entire team up into the stands behind the visitors' bench, and his message was simple. They are an entertainment business, and fans pay good money to watch top performances, something this team needs to start doing. He also mentioned that it doesn't matter what the opinions are here in the stands or what the players' opinions are on themselves. The truth is on the field, and that's where they prove it. And talking to the players, they seem to really like what Corey did yesterday. In fact, quarterback Brett Smith mentioned that it was nice to kind of see the fans' perspective looking down on the field, knowing they need to get out of this 0-7 slump.
But make no mistake, the fans in the stands have their opinions.
Always.
And the Roughriders start first down at the 35 after the single. And here's Smith on the roll. And he takes off again with a cutback. Stopped at the 40. Micah Johnson back in last week after an ACL injury, makes the tackle.
Juwan Simpson, in his 100th start, does a nice job of just slow playing this and forcing Brett Smith, who wanted to get Nick Dembski out of the backfield, but he was covered, and he just forced him to commit and turn inside to make sure that Juwan Simpson gets a chance to get some help from his teammates. Way to play the angles.
2nd and 4, quick hill, slant, and a first down. Weston Dressler's got a catch, and that's number 499, Joe Burnett, on the stop.
Joe Burnett playing again for Buddy Jackson. Not bad idea for Saskatchewan to get the one-on-one. They put Weston Dressler by himself in the short side of the field to try and get that one-on-one matchup they're looking for, and he had lots of room on that slant.
Second first down of the game for the Roughriders. Just 3 first quarter points in the last 4 games. Only 13 for the season. And over the backfield, here's Mushroom. And he stays on his feet. And into Calgary territory at the 46-yard line. 32nd catch of the year for Messam, who regains the Yak lead yards after the catch in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, he wanted the ball right out of the backfield, put his hand up and said, "Give it to me, Brett." He gets it, makes a nice move in the open field, and adds to his over 300 yards receiving on the season.
Jamar Wall unable to bring him down. So it's a pickup of 15. First down, Calgary 46. An errant pass intended for Dressler will make it 2nd and 10.
No, Brett Smith knows that was on him, just the accuracy in the throw. It was also a dangerous one because right at the line of scrimmage, he threw it in front of Dressler, which is where the Calgary defender lines up. There's your offensive coordinator for Saskatchewan, Jacques Chapdelaine. And clearly in this game plan, he's got Dressler back. He's focusing on him and more Messam.
So 2nd and 10, 4-man rush. And Smith takes off. And Brett Smith has another first down at the 35. Again, it's Juwan Simpson, the tackle, but Smith moves the chains.
Eric Wiggin, I believe, is going to get blocked up front. Nice pocket here. Go ahead and run it, guys. I'll show you this offensive line that's had their issues with hands to the face penalties, procedure penalties, but look at the pocket and throwing lane that is provided for Brett Smith. Coverage downfield was good, so he took off and ran for the first down.
19 yards rushing. And now the fly sweep, and it's Dressler inside the 30 to the 26. And again, the middle linebacker, Jawan Simpson, has the stop. But close to a first down. Good first down production for Dressler on the ground.
Got a good lead block here from Jerome Messam out of the backfield, and just that fly sweep coming around. Here comes 33 Messam. He gets the kick-out block on Joe Burnett. Dressler turns up right off behind that block.
Drive started at the Rider 35, seventh play upcoming. As the Roughriders go 2 back on second and short with Matthew Rea in front of Messam. He'll sneak ahead. And Brett Smith comes to an extra effort to get a yard or 2 more before he gets pulled back. And they drain the clock here for the most part in the first quarter without Calgary doing much damage with the wind.
Calgary won the toss and deferred to the second half, and then got the ball because the Riders took a side to defend so they'd get the wind in the second quarter. You're right, this wind will be a factor, and you want to make hay while you have it.
The first down should be the final play, and Smith's got some time, and now throws into the end zone, jump ball, and intercepted. Intended for Rob Bagg, but picked off in the end zone by Jamar Wall. Second interception of the season, and a mistake by the young quarterback after an impressive drive.
Yeah, that really was a poor decision for a lot of reasons.
So that's the final play of the opening quarter. Stamps didn't take advantage of the wind, but they get a key turnover here to nullify a promising Rough Rider drive. Well, perhaps the most popular member of the class of 2015 here in Saskatchewan, it's Gene Makowski. And look at the Hall of Fame credentials, including a 5-time All-CFLer, 4 Grey Cup games, and 2007 particularly special. Gene, congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. I'm thinking of 2007 and you lifting the cup. How does that compare with this weekend?
Well, yeah, it's a great honor, and anytime you get in those situations where you kind of work for things for a long time and they go your way, it's certainly a great moment, and just happy to join all the great players that have played in the CFL and have gone to the Hall of Fame, and I hope they think I'm worthy of it.
Gene, I want to ask you, you played with a lot of quarterbacks here in Saskatchewan. Is there one or two that you just had the ultimate respect for that you'd like to thank as part of this?
Well, yeah, I mean, we played with a lot of great players. I think of Kerry Joseph. He was not here for that long of a time, but he was, he played through a lot of injuries, and he prepared, as good as anyone, and of course he won the Grey Cup with him. And Darian Durant, he's another great player that, on and off the field, he's a leader, and those are the guys you really appreciate.
Obviously the championship highlight, but was that the only highlight of the, what are some of the other highlights of your great career?
Well, just the biggest thing is playing with the guys and having fun on the field and scoring touchdowns.
Scoring touchdowns!
But just getting to play football in Rider Nation was a big thrill.
I have to mention they overturned the interception. The ball hit the ground, so the Rough Riders got the ball back, and that is the first CFL touchdown for Devin Wilson. So we're talking to the most experienced rider of all time, and there's a guy in his second game who just put the Rough Riders in front.
Let's take another look at how it happened. I'm sure there was good protection with Hall of Famer Gene Makowski up here in between the quarters, and it was good protection for Brett Smith. Got a chance to step up in there and hit Wilson on that crossing route.
big cheer for Wilson. You're going to hear one even louder at halftime when you and your fellow inductees are honored. And the Roughriders are going to go for 2 here. Throw intended for Dressler, incomplete, but the Roughriders take the lead as we take another look at why the Jamar Wall apparent interception was overturned.
Yeah, let's take a look first. Now you go back to this interception, overturned. Now all turnovers are reviewed, and you could see the ball bounced and was the turf was used by Wall to help make that catch. That's why that was overturned. And here is Devin Wilson outside on that crossing route. Just a little hesitation, sat in the hole. Nice throw by Brett Smith, who had the time he needed up front. This is still a good offensive line, Gene, and maybe haven't got the rewards with the win yet, but they're playing pretty well.
Yeah, they have. They got a good solid group. Most of the guys back from last year. They battled through a few injuries, but right there, of course, there's a 3-man rush, so you want to give the quarterback lots of time in that. But they've got the running game going all year. Just the wins haven't come.
I got to ask you, you spent a lot of time in the pits. What's tougher, being on the offensive line or in the legislature?
Commissioner Orange said it well last night. He was talking about it, and you know, he said I didn't have enough cheap shots and low blows in football, so I thought I'd continue on with that. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's rewarding work.
Tim Brown on the return, but a kid from Saskatoon. It's you go back to your minor football days and to see how it's all ended with a spot in the Hall of Fame. It must be so gratifying.
Yeah, certainly. I've been very proud to represent the province. I've only played a home game in Saskatchewan throughout my career, and I was very fortunate to play with a lot of great players and coaches, and of course my family is the reason I'm here, and it all lined up, and I love to play the game and represent the Roughriders, as I mentioned.
Well, now the Stampeders have to work against the wind in the second quarter. They'll hand it off to Matt Ramsey. And Walter into the secondary, a terrific run up around the 50-yard line.
Gene, I always like to, for Hall of Famers that we have up in the booth, give them a chance to talk about a couple of teammates that you played with as we watch some of your highlights from your 17-year career. Who are a couple guys you'd like to name?
Oh, just the guys on the line I played with. I played a long time with O'Day, Jeremy O'Day. He was my roommate for a lot of years. A great guy, great player. Andrew Green, another guy, played for a long time. And boy, those are the things to remember. You know, the guys you played with and all the relationships. Scott Schultz, another guy. I could name dozens, but they made it fun.
There's Tyron Brackenridge stepping up to bring a quick halt to that play. What about guys that you hated to play against? Respected, but made your life miserable?
I mean, all the players in pro football are great, but the guys like Cam Wake and Joe Monfort and Philip Hunt, he wasn't here a long time, but he was a great player. You know, they were tough. You didn't sleep too well the night before you had to play those guys.
But you played them well and hard.
No gain for Walter, 2nd and 10. Here comes pressure. Mitchell gets it away, and it's complete. Be close to a first down. Eric Rogers, another catch.
This will be close. Looks like it's just short. Favorite target again for Bo Levi Mitchell, and why not? The way Eric Rogers is playing. No question with the catch. Secured it, did not touch the turf.
And they're going to go for it. 3rd and a yard. Mitchell sliding to the right, and he should have it. Brackenridge the tackle, but
he was casual with that, wasn't he?
He took the scenic route.
Yeah, he just kind of went laterally there, which is always a gamble in short yardage, especially when you're the visiting team and the crowd can affect the snap count. But he gets it done and moves the chains.
So a fresh set of downs for Calgary at the Roughrider 51, 6-4. Saskatchewan with the lead on the Devin Wilson touchdown. Back into the hands of Walter, and again he is sliced down quickly.
You had big shoes to fill, Gene, when you came in. Roger Aldag was sort of the guy, and then you get drafted from the U of S, and I know you were sort of saying this is going to be the next guy, or at least feeling that pressure. What was that like?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you can replace Roger Aldag. I had no intention of doing that. I was just trying to early on just to make the team, just to try and fit in, and so I wasn't trying to replace Roger Aldag. I think anybody can. He's a great player and he's become a great friend, and boy, it's an honor to call him that.
Was he one of the guys you watched growing up?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. I was a bigger guy, so I always watched the Wallabies, the Gorels, and Aldags, Polies, those guys, and they're certainly great guys to emulate.
Saw your young family out on the field helping bring out the Roughriders. 3 sons?
Yeah, that's 3 of them. Older 2, they're playing minor football in Regina here, and head coach of one of the teams. It's a lot of fun. Great league here in Regina.
Mitchell looking for Fuller, incomplete. And let's take a look at an old teammate, Eddie Davis, and his young son, and your crew just prior to the game. Got to be a thrill for them to maybe appreciate Dad's career a little bit more now than a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they really like coming to the games. They still do, of course. They don't get to go in the locker room anymore, so they're a little sad about that. They wanted me to keep playing probably forever, but...
Hey, you're a Hall of Famer. You should have pulled.
Yeah. Although, they enjoy it.
2nd and 10, and Mitchell has time, throws, and another second down conversion catch. Second on this drive from Markway McDaniel.
Bo Levi Mitchell really knifing the ball into this wind, because once again the accuracy for Bo Levi Mitchell, bang on. Pretty well covered, Markway McDaniel, by Terrell Mays. He was underneath that throw, but Mitchell put it right where he had to.
Roughriders moved the ball against the wind, and now Calgary doing likewise. This drive started at the 34, and it's the 9th play of the drive into the hands of Walter, straight ahead once again. Crashing down inside the 20-yard line.
Gene, I have to ask you, because of your 17 seasons and how much and how well you know this fan base, an 0-7 start is tough in this city, is it not?
Yeah, it sure is. And of course, the fans are very passionate, close-knit community. And yeah, anywhere you go, you wear O for that's for sure. But that's good. Passion is good, and these fans certainly deserve a good team. They're patient though. I mean, if things are building and we play better, I think we get some leeway there, but not a ton a lot of times.
Rob Cote with a catch that gets Calgary a first down and goal at the 6-yard line. An impressive drive being generated by Bo Levi Mitchell.
But it says something about this crowd when they're 0-7 and tonight a sellout.
Yeah, absolutely. and sellout well before. So
yeah,
Calgary's a rival game, but still that says it all about Rider Nation.
5 first downs, and now a pass in the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Torrey Harrison.
Brackenridge on the coverage there on Harrison, and in good position. Seen Brackenridge get involved in the run game early in this one, now that he's playing linebacker. Physical presence. Don't be surprised at all if he doesn't create something closer to the line of scrimmage.
12th play of the drive. Stampeders trying to cap it. 2nd and goal from the 6. And over the middle, it's a touchdown. It's Torrey Harrison with his first CFL touchdown.
Assist goes to Rob Cote, who is going to release from the tight end spot, and it's kind of 2 layers where it's tough to cover. Cote comes here, and Smith right out behind him, and which one does the linebacker and Jeff Knox cover? He's trying to figure out which, and one is left wide open. It's Torrey Harrison for the touchdown for Calgary. Good drive by Mitchell into the wind.
And the Stampeders going for 2. Mitchell just did a count, and with a man short,
I think he was waiting for a play. He was trying to get
play.
Yeah, trying to get the right play call. into his headset, in his helmet.
But the Riders unsuccessful on a 2-point attempt. And now the Stampeders will try and click here, looking for Rogers, and it's taken away. Marshall Green with the interception, took it out of the hands of Rogers. They're going to call it incomplete, but it's an unsuccessful 2-point attempt. 12 plays, 76-yard drive. Calgary takes the lead, and our thanks to the new inductee to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, Gene Makowski, for spending some time with us. Congrats, Gene.
My pleasure.
Roughriders did in the first quarter when they had almost 8 minutes of possession time against the Wind. That, by the way, the first unsuccessful 2-point attempt by Calgary this year after going 7 for 7. Stephen Miller stacked up on the kick return. Brett Smith and the Roughriders go back to work when we return to Mosaic. Again, a 12-play drive, 76 yards in 6 minutes, 40 seconds for the Stamps.
And 2 things I noticed in that drive. First of all, Matt Walter, 28 yards rushing and 5 yards receiving for him. So he was an important part of the drive out of the backfield. But the accuracy from Bo Levi Mitchell into the wind, excellent on the drive.
Riders take over at the 27-yard line into the hands of Messel off the left side. He'll move the pile all the way up to the 35. It's an 8-yard pickup on first down.
You know, ranked second coming into the week in rushing, Jerome Messam. And yet, in the past few games, he's had less than 10 carries per game, maintaining his over 7-yard average. I guess the only question when it came to 33 is why didn't he get the ball more?
Week 2, 19 carries. He's topped up at 85 yards, his best rushing game of the season, and he has a first down going back on the left side, and Juwan Simpson brings him down and helps him up.
And this has been updated. You take a look at the average yards per carry for the top running backs in the league, and Anthony Allen, Jerome Messam, 1 and 2 in that category. Brandon Whitaker at number 3 at 6.3. Last week, or the last game for Saskatchewan against Toronto, he was 9 for 61, just 9 carries in that one.
Well, first down, and now Smith to the air, and the completion to Dressler. And that is catch number 500 for Weston Dressler.
I've seen a lot of good things from Brett Smith as well. He's got the arm strength to make every throw and has shown that. Pretty good mobility in the pocket, runs with his eyes downfield, shows great composure. 0-2, but he's showing some good things.
8 yards for Dressler, and the flag flies before this play gets off.
Procedure, Saskatchewan, number 59. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
That's the newcomer, Randy Richards, who takes the spot at right tackle of Levi Adcock, and a costly penalty that takes them out of 2nd and short and makes it 2nd and 7.
This has been an issue for Corey Chamberlain and this Rider team, and he changed things up in practice this week. More on that after this play.
First penalty yardage assessed in the game. 2nd and 7. And the handoff, and Messam got a first down across midfield. Knocked out by Josh Bell, but we thought they might lean on Messam today, and he gets 18 on that last carry.
What Corey Chamberlain did this week, a nice run off the delayed run here. Almost a draw to Jerome Messam, but what Corey Chamberlain did this week was any penalty committed in practice, say by an offensive player, the entire offense had to do up downs. Now, up downs are difficult for athletes like Messam, really tough for offensive linemen. And if it was a defensive player who committed a foul, in practice. All the defense had to do the up down. So basically what Corey Chamberlain and the message he was sending to his team is that if you commit a foul, it affects the entire squad. Got that penalty, but Jerome Messam bails him out with a first down off a nice draw play run.
8.2-yard average for Messam in the game, but concern right in front of the Roughrider bench. Devin Wilson, who has the Saskatchewan touchdown, is hobbling off. So Wilson to the sidelines, and a depleted receiving corps gets even thinner. So first down into Calgary territory at the Stamps 50-yard line. And another first down at the 40. Brought down by Jamar Wall.
Boy, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are moving Weston Dressler all over the place. We've seen him at the wide receiver spot on the short side. We've seen him at his normal slot back number 3 receiver if there's 3 receivers to one side, and there he was in the middle, the 2 receiver. 4 catches already tonight.
So Messam to the sideline, Stephen Miller in. And 3-men line up in the backfield. But Smith on a roll. Rob Bagg was one of those who lined up in the backfield, and he makes the catch, an 11-yard first down.
It's one of the things I talked about with Brett Smith and showing what he can do. He gets outside and throws a nice one to Bagg. He's going to get Rob Bagg out of that bunch formation, working on Keon Raymond. If that ball is thrown underneath, Keon Raymond will take it to the house. He's done that many times in his career, but the ball was put outside where only Bagg could get to it.
4th first down of the drive for Smith and the Roughriders. Back to pass, pressure line gets away. Now unloads into the end zone, and unable to connect with Weston Dressler. Missed opportunity.
Well, it looked like Frank Beltre had a clear shot at Brett Smith. He makes an inside move defensively here from that defensive tackle position, and from the end position. He comes in and going right down the middle to Brett Smith, gets himself some time, and then just misses Dressler, who was open, trying to react to that scramble from number 16.
Beltre replacing the injured Freddie Bishop this week at defensive end for Calgary. 8th play of the drive. It's 2nd and 10 Saskatchewan. Dump it off. Miller going to spin off Deron Mayo, and the Stampeders leading tackler brings him down short of a Roughrider first down.
Well, Deron Mayo, you mentioned leading the Calgary defense in tackles, and one of the reasons that when Jasper Simmons' agent started talking publicly and criticizing the organization, John Huffnagel made a quick decision to get rid of him. He wasn't taking Mayo's spot.
So 3rd down, but first, the 3-minute warning given to the sidelines here at Mosaic. 10-6 Stamps.
Rod, the boys back inside the studio getting set for Live at the Half. We'll have more on the exuberant Brett Smith and how he's playing. Also, Jerome Messam, some concerns about the Rider D, and also the coach on the Calgary offensive line. A few minutes away as we get back to Regina. Chris and Glenn.
Thanks, Rod. Good-looking Roughrider drive stalls at the Calgary 22-yard line. So Paul McCallum coming on to attempt a field goal. Unless Corey Chamberlain has something on here on 3rd and 3. Weston Dressler, the holder, checking in a little late. So from the 30, McCallum puts it up and puts it through. 10-9 the score. We'll hear from another CFL Hall of Famer, former Stampeder and Roughrider, Eddie Davis, with Lee Jones when we return to Mosaic. distinguished 15-year career for Eddie Davis, 4-time CFL All-Star, won cups with both Calgary and Saskatchewan, 34 career interceptions, and he's standing by with Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. This has to be special watching these two teams you played for and won Grey Cups with. What kind of goes through your mind when you see these two teams that you put the jerseys on for your career?
It's always special watching these two teams play. You know, in Calgary, I was a young guy coming into a strong team. And when I came to Saskatchewan, I was already an established guy trying to make a strong team. So it's always a good game when these two teams play.
A lot of people talk to you in Saskatchewan saying it was almost like having an extra coach on the field. Do you feel that was what gave you the biggest advantage in your career?
You know what, my big thing, man, is I just wanted to make us better. So I did whatever I could to make us better. I watched as much film as possible. I wanted to learn as much about my opponent as I could, and I helped all the guys out because I just take little keys and cues that I see from the film, and I call it out in the games.
Where's the jacket going to go?
Oh, the jacket is I'm wearing this jacket every day. I'm going to sleep in it. I think I might wear it to work the first day when I get back as well.
Thanks for this, Eddie.
Thanks a lot.
That's great. Outstanding. And there is, in a nutshell, for young football players watching, coming up, amateur guys, how do you become a better player? You study and respect your opponent. You prepare yourself like Eddie Davis prepared himself, and you'll have a great chance to succeed on the field. And that's why he was so good. He prepared like a coach. In fact, probably watched more film than a lot of coaches.
Class act, worthy inductee, and Matt Walter. The Stampeder offense has done a good job against the wind here in the second quarter. Last drive was 12 plays, 6 first downs, and now up near midfield once again.
Well, their Hall of Famer and their offensive coordinator, Dave Dickinson, has put some nice balance into the offense here without John Cornish. Remember, he's been out for a few games now, but they're leaning a bit on Matt Walter for that run to set up the pass for Bo Levi Mitchell.
So 2nd and 6, here comes the hit. They get to Mitchell, and again it's the newcomer, Don Anumba. Made a couple plays here in the opening half.
Yeah, and it's set up by Brackenridge, who's coming around on a blitz, and he is going to occupy the tackle. So Brackenridge starts on this blitz wide, and that opens up the inside pass rush from the secondary to Anumba. And it looked close, like he might have hit him low, Bo Levi Mitchell, but he hit him around the waist and then slid down to the leg. So it's a clean tackle in the backfield and a sack.
First sack of the game. Roughriders with 9 in their last 2 starts. Line drive. Punt gets a good bounce from Maver, and Miller fields it out of bounds at the 21-yard line, but 45 yards into the win for Rob Maver, who hit that line drive to perfection.
I know you hear coaches all the time say sacks and that statistic is overrated, but there's another stat that's pretty impressive. Heading into this week, 154 possessions, only 3 touchdowns have been scored if a sack occurred. Less than 2% of the time. So you get that stat that coaches say is overrated. Good chance your defense is coming off the field.
Good to see Devin Wilson back on the field in this offensive set for the Roughriders. And that pass tipped, intended for Messam, and falls incomplete, and that's Junior Turner, who now has 4 knockdowns on the year. He is really adept at the knockdown.
Excuse me, there he is. Junior Turner coming up. And he gets that knockdown. He was the defensive end coming off the edge. Played interior last week.
5th-year guy really coming into his own this season. So 2nd down, Smith with the pass. Almost intercepted. Dangerous pass, and a couple of Stampeder defenders who had shots at it collided, and Brandon Smith got the worst of it. And Brandon Smith. Little friendly fire.
Burnett came right over to make sure his teammate was okay. A little bit of a limp from Brandon Smith. All-star last year, making his way to the sideline.
So the second 2 and out of the first half for the Roughriders, and Ray Early will punt with the win. Expecting this breeze to diminish in the second half, with gusts up to 50 clicks an hour here in the first half. Brown at the 41 with the good return across midfield and down the sidelines. There is a flag. Brown gets away, and he's going to score, but will it stand up?
We'll see what the flag is, but what a run by Tim Brown. And in fact, that cut he makes at the very end of it is one of the reasons why he's
while the ball was in flight, holding Calgary number 47. It'd be 10-yard penalty. First down, Calgary.
So it's negated by a penalty. And Mark Killam, special teams coordinator, shows his disappointment.
Well, I'm not sure if they got the right number. 47 is right there in the middle of your screen for Calgary. And that,
newcomer Corbin Sharoon.
Yeah, Sharoon, but I'm wondering if it was 27 to the right of your screen, right at the point of attack here.
Jeff Heck.
Jeff Heck looked like he held a number on that break to the outside by Tim Brown, so may have got the number wrong there. I didn't see Sharoon with the hole.
It's a 60-yard touchdown return off the board. And John Chick has a sack. Number 5 on the year for Chick, who's starting to heat up. 4th in 3 games.
Well, it's an inside spin move from John Chick right here. And he's going to spin on the inside and then still recover to cut off Bo Levi Mitchell as he tries to escape outside the edge. An inside spin move, but he accelerates to the ball, and John Chick has come on of late as well.
Back-to-back sacks, and Roughriders trying to get the ball back here for one last possession in the half. The hitch is incomplete. Scooped off the turf. And the Roughriders likely to call timeout here. They should get the ball with about a half minute to go, and Neighbor has to kick into this breeze.
I know what coaches say, but I don't think sacks are overrated at all.
That sack by Chick, an important one here. It could give the Roughriders an opportunity to take the lead before the half is done. Neighbor 45 yards last time into the wind, and does it again. Good kick. No yards call. William Longley downfield in a hurry, but almost too quickly.
It looks like that will be a 15-yard, no-yard penalty.
No yards. Calgary number 23. 15-yard penalty. First down, Saskatchewan.
It's the rookie out of Sherbrooke who gets the call, and that will bring the football across midfield for Saskatchewan. And with this wind,
yeah,
really
field goal range.
virtually in field goal range now.
Absolutely. Which is something that Brett Smith has got to keep in mind here.
So a half minute to work with. Last Stampeder possession lasting just 34 seconds. Smith around in the pocket in some trouble, and he will step out at the 42-yard line. But a flag in the backfield.
Well, surprised with the call, Chris, to be honest. I know you're an 0-7 team. You want to be aggressive and try and throw.
Face mask, Saskatchewan number 66. 15-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
That's veteran Chris Best who now will push the Riders out of that field goal position.
It will be second down. Second down.
It must be they felt that the right hand was in the face right there of Calgary Stampeder D lineman, and
so it is second down. They bring the ball back to the Roughrider 53. Pressure on, and Smith throws incomplete to the feet of Jerome Messam, and that's a big defensive stand by Calgary.
It is ever. I mean, they take advantage of, I think, questionable play calling from Saskatchewan here. I mean, you've got field goal range with 30 seconds to go. You pound it to Messam. You keep the field goal range, positive yards. They throw, get the penalty from Chris Best, takes him out of field goal range, and then a nice defensive play by Charleston Hughes, and the chance for points and the possible lead at halftime disappears.
You got 2 carries into the line and you're in field goal range.
Exactly.
With Messam. They're going to try a field goal anyway here. Ray Early looks like he's got the tee down at the 45. So they're going to try a 65-yard field goal.
With Tim Brown in the end zone for Calgary if they miss. This could be interesting.
Hit one from over 60 in the warm-up, reports Lee Jones. This from 65 yards out. Does he have enough? No, he doesn't. And Tim Brown will field it and have a chance at a return. Here comes Brown. A huge hit there that will draw flags. And Brown shaken up. That was the newcomer, Randy Richards, celebrating, but there's a flag down on the play. And good to see Brown get up as quickly as he did. And that has raised the ire of the Stampeder bench.
Take a look at this hit by Randy Richards covering this missed field goal. Number 59, middle of your screen. Clothesline clearly. Not only illegal, but dangerous. Good to see Tim Brown get up and recover from it.
And the question is, will Richards stay in the game?
Exactly.
I don't think there's any doubt he'll hear about supplementary discipline, but now the official's coming to the sideline.
Rough play, disqualification,
yeah,
Saskatchewan,
so.
Number 58.
There's no
25-yard penalty, first down, Calgary.
And that puts the Roughriders in a huge bind. The new right tackle expressing his disbelief, but I don't think anybody should be surprised.
Not at all. And I mean, I think, Randy Richards is 6'3", and I don't think there was any premeditation to it, or at least it doesn't appear to, but when he gets in position, the left arm comes up high and he tomahawks him down. I mean, that's a dangerous hit. No question there'll be supplemental discipline. And that's the first thing I thought. Is this a disqualification? It turns out it is, and all of a sudden Calgary with one. And then the celebration after, I don't think helped Richardson either.
No.
With the opponent lying on the ground and possibly injured. And good to see Tim Brown get up. But I don't think it had anything to do with the decision, but it didn't look good on Randy Richards to celebrate after a dangerous hit. Again, didn't look like it was any sort of premeditated thing. It may have just been different heights, but he followed through with it.
This will have a huge impact on the second half. There'll be some readjusting on that offensive line, and Corey Watman will have to come in. And will it be Chris Best that goes out to right tackle? So 2 seconds remaining.
The player number on the disqualification is player number 59. 59.
Time for one play. The ball advanced to the Roughrider 46. But only time for one play, barring a penalty for Bo Levi Mitchell. And you go all the way back to Saskatchewan being in field goal range.
Exactly.
With 30 seconds to go. Play selection can get you into a real bind, and it unravels in the final half minute. And Mitchell's going to take one shot. Going to air it out deep against the wind, and it's a jump ball. He's the leading receiver of the league, and that's why.
What a catch from Eric Rogers. Surrounded by Saskatchewan defenders, catches the ball at the high point. And how about this turn of events?
And Suits, how about 60 yards against the wind?
Running in tandem outside. Look at the stride length. He is down there in the end zone deep, surrounded by Saskatchewan defenders, and wins the jump ball. The Riders, with 30 seconds to go in the half, run 2 running plays, kick a field goal, take the lead. And all of this has happened in that last 30 seconds. Calgary gets the score and is going for 2.
Hail Mary and a handoff. Matt Walters got 2 points. And just like that, it's a 9-point Calgary lead. How about Bo Levi Mitchell strong-arming that into a heavy wind, and Eric Rogers flashing best receiver in the league credentials. What a final minute. That'll change what the guys are talking about at halftime, I bet. Let's check in with Brad Smith and company.
You bet, CC. Boy, what else can happen to a team that still has not won a football game this year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who looked, at the very least, like they would be heading to the dressing room down only a point, perhaps even getting the lead, but Calgary gets that late touchdown after the penalty. Well, let's get the reaction on that first. You think that should have been an ejection to Richards?
You know, unfortunately, I'm going to say yes, and only because that's the direction we're trying to go in professional football. We're trying to take away headshots, and when a big 300-pounder clotheslines a little guy as he's running by at full speed, you can hurt a guy.
Yeah.
So for that reason alone. I don't think he meant to hurt him, but that's the era we live in.
Yeah, you have to eject him. And it's difficult. You're talking about a lineman who's 6'3" and a returner who's 5'8", but I mean, you can't continue doing those things, so I think they made the right call.
You have to, because if you don't, you set a precedent, and the next guy will try to take that risk. I don't think it was intentional, but you have to make the call. The thing is, they throw the Hail Mary. Two of the defensive backs are looking at the receiver as the ball is coming over. All they had to do was turn around, play the ball. It shouldn't have happened.
Hey, Rogers is a touchdown machine. You know that in 59 games playing college arena football in CFL, he has 83 touchdowns.
59.
That is a touchdown machine.
6 touchdowns in 6 straight games.
And that one just really hurts the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I mean, when you look at this team, 0-7 coming in, it's not overall for offense. I mean, it might surprise you to learn that they're actually the #1 offense in a lot of categories, I should say, including yards per game. Defense is a different story, though, Jock.
Defense is a problem, and I just want to show fans at home who are watching Saskatchewan and wondering why this team gives up so many points and where some of the areas they've been struggling at. I'm just going to show you this drive that led to a touchdown. First of all, this is 2nd and 7, and you cannot have on 2nd and 7 your 3 defensive backs here to the field playing at 7 yards and backpedaling. This is way too soft. Calgary guy, McDaniel runs up, turns around. It's too easy, way too easy. And then how about this play here? You're going to see a player in the flats right here come out of the backfield, and you're going to see 2 guys take him and leave the tight end wide open. This is way too easy. It let him get down inside the 10-yard line. And then Calgary plays off of that set. They make the same look happen here as if he's going to the flat, but he dips back in. But watch the linebacker go for it. He's not even looking in the backfield. He assumes the running back is going to go to the flat. He doesn't. Way too easy. And that's the problem. There's not enough challenging happening here and getting in guys' faces and making them earn their way down the field.
As for the Riders offense led by Brett Smith, we've seen a lot of good young quarterbacks in the CFL, Milt, and he definitely has potential. We see some good and some bad from him in that first half.
We've seen just a little bit about everything about him. And when you're a young quarterback, there's certain things you're going to go through in a game. Young quarterback, young position, it doesn't matter. You're going to get emotional, you're going to make some mistakes, and you're going to make some plays. And we saw this on 3 consecutive plays from Brett Smith. You notice right here, this is a 1-yard quarterback sneak. And you know what? I like this emotion. Some of these guys on the panel, they didn't like it. I love it. You see that young quarterback, but then he comes back and he makes a mistake. This throw should not have been made. His receiver is not open. There's not enough end zone. But his saving grace was that DB drops it. But not like his confidence, because he comes right back the next play and throws a great strike for a touchdown. You love that in a young quarterback when he has that confidence. I like what I've seen so far in the first half. He's made some great throws, and he's also used his legs. So he's going to be a good one maybe, Schultz.
Milt, here's what I like about the game. It has been a magnificent, disciplined play-calling game by both teams. Dave Dickinson has kept Matt Walter in the game as a running back. Jacques Chapdelaine has kept Jerome Messam as a running back in the game, but they have to continue in the second half. You can't expect your quarterback in Brent Smith to win this game by throwing the football. You've got to stay balanced. Now, in the second half of the games, it's still a score and a bit for the Riders to get back and to win this game, but don't lose that balance. Don't lose the physical element of the game. Don't put all the emphasis on your quarterback to win the game. Make sure that he makes a contribution and the Riders have a chance. Stay disciplined. We've seen some extended drives, a limited number of 2-and-outs, which is great, and a limited number of punts. Great play-calling game, but will they extend it into the second half?
And then that game within the game, just a couple of plays with seconds to go when Saskatchewan tries a 65-yard field goal on the return. A player, Randy Richards, gets ejected, and with the extra yardage, Bo Levi Mitchell hits Eric Rogers, and then suddenly a 1-point game with the 2-point conversion up to a 9-point game now. 18-9, Calgary suddenly in control in what has been a close game of the half. There's Bob Obilovich, Hall of Famer, Eddie Davis, Gene Mikowski. We'll have more on them as well coming up at the half.
Among the new inductees into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, Dave Dickinson, the 2000 most outstanding player. Played in 4 Grey Cups, were winner with Calgary in '98, and the BC Lions in 2006 when he was the MVP. And now the offensive coordinator with the Stampeders is standing by with Lee Jones.
Dave Dickinson, first off, congratulations on getting to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. And I know you've had to be making game plans for this one, for the Stamps offense, and enjoying that. How difficult and how much did you get it to enjoy last night in Saskatoon?
Well, I actually only went to the banquet. It hasn't been the perfect week, but it was a perfect night. It really was fun. And glad to go in with those guys. Really have a lot of respect for the other guys who went in, and so had some ex-teammates, family come up. So it was really a perfect night for me. It's kind of hard today to celebrate. The thing that'd be the best would be to get a win.
How much memories came flooding back while you were up there seeing your accomplishments?
Well, I enjoyed watching the video. I mean, I had better hair back then, seemed to be in a little better shape, and enjoyed watching, especially with the old teammates. It really was. G-Ray and Jason Claremont, Ryan Thelwell. I had my roommate come up from college. It was fun. And I got to remember back to the career. It was pretty good. It was a lot of good memories. Stamps and well with BC. I was treated so well by both organizations. Still getting treated well by this one. They set me up with a table, the Stamps, so really was first class.
Thanks for this, and congratulations once again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that career was pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. And that year in 2000, when he was the outstanding player, Dave Dickinson, as good as it gets.
So we start the second half, 18-9. Calgary has the lead, and a big quarter here for the Roughriders as they will have the win. Stephen Miller brought down around the 36-yard line. And we'll take a look at the adjustments that have to be made on that Saskatchewan offensive line with the disqualification of right tackle Randy Richards.
Well, you mentioned Corey Wattman will come in. Looks like they're moving Brendan Labatt to right tackle. He'll play beside Chris Best, and
so that's the switch. Wattman in Labatt's spot, and Labatt kicks out to right tackle for Richards as we begin the second half. Jerome Messam off the left side and up over the 40-yard line for Messam as around 3.
well, very, very interesting final 30 seconds of that first half. One that quickly turned on Saskatchewan and in the favor of the Calgary Stampeders in a big way. And by the way, the hit from Randy Richards on Tim Brown. Brown is fine.
2nd and 6. And Smith from the pocket. Look out! Brandon Smith has the pick and brought down by the quarterback to avoid a 3rd consecutive pick 6 week for Brett Smith.
Well, he hustled to make the tackle, and that's often the guy who's got to do it, or else it is a score. And we've seen a ton of these this year in the CFL where the pick 6, Smith gets them and saves the touchdown. But what a jump from Brandon Smith, who's been around the ball all game. I mean, starting in that first half, we saw Brandon Smith with a knockdown. And I mentioned he's still searching for his first pick. He got it.
Yeah, we thought he had it the first half, and Joe Burnett collided with him. The celebration on the sidelines for the 9th career interception. Here's Matt Walter finding some room straight ahead, and Walter's had a good afternoon so far. Tyrone Brackenridge, the tackle on Walter.
Especially in that second quarter. Matt Walter, so important against the wind and the balance from Dave Dickinson. Hall of Famer Dave Dickinson. Great interview for him, and congratulations to all the Hall of Famers going in. But yeah, when he got Walter involved, this provided some balance.
Short yardage. 2nd and 1. Bryant Moniz comes into the game. Now they're going to call timeout, and Dave Dickinson upset about that.
Timeout, Calgary.
Moniz went over to Laver 2 to discuss maybe his call. Often the center will make the protection call or the blocking assignment call. Maybe Moniz heard it, didn't think it was correct, and wanted to make sure a mistake wasn't made. Called the timeout.
Well, in a win game, losing a timeout like that could be costly. Makes you wonder that they had something big planned on 2nd and 1 and not just a running play. Now they'll take care of the first down as Moniz takes off. And there is a flag down as Moniz runs for what would be the first down.
Looks like it may be coming back, though. Brandon Tennant got spun around, it looked like.
Holding, Calgary number 53. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
That's Brad Erdos, the right guard, who draws the penalty, and they'll march it back. And again, type of penalty that'll drive coaches crazy. You're 2nd and 1, now 2nd and long.
Yeah, and he was the guy trying to block Brandon Tennant.
Yeah, they burn a timeout and take a 10-yard penalty. Goes the wide side, and it's West with the catch. Immediately brought down by Tristan Jackson.
Veteran back in the lineup after being out on the 6-game injured list, and Tristan Jackson provides a spark, plays with a lot of energy, tackle in the open field.
But there is a flag on the play. And the Stampeders are walking back.
Illegal block, hands to the face, Calgary number 63. That penalty's declined. Third down.
They'll have her 2 called, but they'll decline the penalty. And the field goal team's going to come on for the Stampeders. Not going to give Calgary an extra play here. It might have pushed the Stamps back to the 30 and on the cusp of field goal range, but you're good with this?
Yeah, and I saw the kickers making it from about 35 into the wind in warm-up.
This one 23 for Paredes, and he puts it through. Valuable points against the wind. 21-9 for Calgary. In the Hall of Fame game, honoring the likes of the great legend of the fall, Dave Dickinson. So the Stampeders get 3 off the interception. Nick Dembski's back, awaiting as Saskatchewan opts for the Calgary kickoff here. And a line drive boot that sends Miller back inside his 10. Stephen Miller up across the 30, it's still going. Cuts back into traffic and all the way to the 50-yard line. Big return for Stephen Miller, 41 yards.
Well, he's had a couple and no penalty flag, but Miller makes a nice cut right there. And the only man able to try and make that tackle on Miller, Derek Wigan, misses in the open field.
So the Roughriders start at their own 50-yard line, trying to cut into a 12-point Calgary lead. Smith on a roll. He's just going to throw it away. Nothing available there. And a late hit draws a flag. Micah Johnson comes up claiming innocence, but
yeah, he had his hand in the back of Brett Smith, and this one.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 93. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And this one is on the real marginal order here because he's just chasing and basically the play's over. He sees the ball thrown away and he's just trying to gear down and trying to kind of balance himself on the back. I mean,
he didn't even touch him.
He barely touched him. Yeah,
that's a break.
That's a big break because.
Interesting that Tino Sinceri would start to warm up a little bit, but Smith stays in the game. Looks like he's okay. And Johnson to the sidelines.
That's just a flat, and you know when you see it again, that's just a flat out bad call.
And he'll get inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. And Messam has 6. And Junior Turner a little slow to get up. Jerome Messam 7 carries, 51 yards so far, and Xavier Fulton
he's
in
also,
a little difficulty.
It's like he's having problems with that left arm.
That's not good. You've lost your right tackle, and now the left tackle is in some discomfort. 2nd and 4. And Smith's going to carry himself. And he'll get inside the 30-yard line. Tripped up there by Wall, but Brett Smith moves the chains once again.
Takes a quick look like he wants to get rid of the football to his right. Quick one-step drop, and that alley opens up. He sees it peripheral and just ticks off. I mean, why not? You only need 4 yards for the first down.
First down, and here's Messam. And Jerome Messam pounds down around the 23-yard line. Jawan Simpson, the tackle. Micah Johnson back in the game, helps out.
Well, we saw an example in BC where the Alouettes beat BC for the first time in a long time with a strong running game.
Right back in Messam's hands, left side, puts down. What they didn't do late in the first half, they're doing now. Messam.
Yeah. Well, you go back to the old time, the old adage that if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. And if they're not stopping it, keep running it. Go to the well as many times as you can.
Exactly 7 yards to carry so far.
Right up at that same average, 7 yards a carry.
Quinn Smith getting attention. And while they work on Quinn Smith, we will step out. Just over 5 minutes into the third quarter. One of the inductees to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame who was unable to be with us this weekend, Leroy Blue, the pride of Napanee, Ontario, three-time All-Canadian at Bishops, the President's Trophy winner, the top defensive player in 1988, and had a distinguished CFL career with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Really did. 14 years with Edmonton, is now the defensive line coach in Ottawa. We hope he gets well soon.
Head coach with Bishops as well for an extended period of time. First down for the Roughriders. But Smith in some trouble. Bounce it over there. And he'll get tossed down. Finally brought down by the newcomer to the Calgary defense, Malik Harris, in his first game, replacing the injured Glenn Love.
Gain of 3 seconds and 7.
So a 3-yard pickup for Harris.
Hitting right in behind the goalpost. There's Harris. It looks like he's in charge of spying Brett Smith. Almost shadowing his every little move from the pocket, and then makes a nice tackle.
2nd and 7. From the score zone again, Smith bopping around. It's a touchdown. It's Alex Carroll, and his first CFL catch is a major score.
Plays made by Brett Smith. Finds himself some time, but scrambling around with his eyes up. And this is
Big City, I see you, baby!
Young quarterbacks, and certainly Brett Smith has done this a few times already in his just third start, where he'll start and then now he'll scramble and run. But this time he scrambles with his eyes downfield, and he finds Carroll on that crossing route. Ball put right between the 8 and the 7.
Victoria native, the rookie out of Queens, has the touchdown. And that's a little bit of the backups chemistry. Guys on the 2nd and 3rd team for much of training camp who work together, and it pays off in a big way here, 21-16. As Brett Smith finds Carroll in the end zone.
An all-Canadian trips formation. There's Nick Dembski. There's Rob Bagg that's going to clear out, and then Carroll on this dig coming across the middle. Nice route running by the youngster and Alex Carroll. Uses patience, moves up the field. A little bit of influence there from Rob Bagg down the seam, opens up some space, and he got his first touchdown.
A kickoff, did it go out in the end zone or short of the cone? And I think they're ruling it went out in the end zone. So that's a break for the Roughriders. There's Alex Carroll who caps an 60-yard drive in just under 4 minutes for the Roughriders as they bounce back after the interception on the previous possession.
We're seeing some of the young future talent for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Alex Carroll, Nick Dembski. That one will go in the trophy case.
Saying there might be a new Canadian Air Force. Here's Mr. Rogers with another catch. And first down at the 35.
4th in yards from scrimmage coming in. Tied with S.J. Green for the best average per catch at 17.3, a couple 100-yard games. I mean,
and Suits, in all the excitement about the touchdown, we forgot to mention, 6th consecutive game with a touchdown.
Yeah.
Last guy to do that, he's playing against Weston Dressler. The fly swoop to Anthony Parker. And that one contained for just a yard or two. Brackenridge again involved, and he's a little closer to the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's getting involved more.
You know, his game is that physical presence, and even though he's been an all-star at safety, it's not necessarily been because he's a ball hawk. Just 9 interceptions career in about 72 games. He likes to play physical, so why not put him down there?
2nd and 8. Nacho Harris looks like he's blitzing. They go the other way. The ball is dropped. Rogers doesn't catch that, and the punt team has to come on for Calgary.
Haven't seen that much at all from Eric Rogers, but not sure he would have got it anywhere. A couple of closing Saskatchewan defenders look pretty close.
We were told the winds would start to diminish at about this point in the day, but it looks as strong as ever, checking the flags, and Rob Baber's got to deal with that here as Stephen Miller awaits at the Roughrider 40. And you can see that hang up, and Miller drops it and has to quickly pounce on it. Does he get it back or not? The Stampeders recovered 3 punts last week, and they get another one here. And it looks like William Langley. No, it's Adam Berger who comes up with the football. And another fumble recovery on the teams by the Stampeders. Again, that's what helped break it open last week against Ottawa. Ball loose, and Berger gets on it. Covered this new inductee to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, but so well-deserved. Larry Rita, for 60 years involved in amateur football. Simon Fraser as well. But through the ranks of football in BC, and he's standing by with Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So much time with football for 60 years, Larry. Where did your love from football, where did it begin?
Oh, when I was about 14 years of age, and came home one day and told my dad I wanted to play football. And he went out the next day and bought me a J5V football, and that's where it started. And I continued to play for a number of years till I was about, finished high school, a little bit of junior and juvenile football, and then kind of gave up. And then a buddy of mine came and said, hey, how would you like to help out coaching? And that's when it started in the 1960s, and I continued on to this day.
You're with Football BC. What keeps you going?
Well, I think that my approach has always been to give back for what I got out of football. I've had a tremendous amount of people work for me over the years, and that's helped in my success. And I just felt that I want to continue to improve the quality of football that we have in British Columbia.
Thanks for this, and congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Chris?
Special guys like Larry Rita, so many involved in this province at the amateur football level. And
the guy who just made a catch, Lamar Durant,
yes.
SFU product. Larry Rita spent time at SFU, and for all those years, it's volunteering amateur football.
Third trip to the red zone for the Stampeders. Ball Levi Mitchell being tracked there by Alex Hall, and he'll throw it away. Touchdown and a field goal in their first 2 trips inside the 20 in this game.
Substitutions coming here from Corey Chamberlain. Saskatchewan defense sending out Rory Knopp.
Another costly penalty or turnover by the Roughriders. The Miller fumble when it looked like momentum might be turning and Saskatchewan would have good field position. Instead, Calgary has a chance to add to their lead. 2nd and 10. And it's a hitch to Anthony Parker. T. George on the scene along with Rory Conop. And Parker felt the effects of that hit. Going to be 3rd down, and the field goal unit comes on.
You're right. That's the game against Ottawa. Bo Levi Mitchell and his Calgary team took full advantage of all their turnovers by the Red Blacks, especially in the kicking game, where they would fumble the ball off a return, turned into 7 points quickly, and that's how the rout began.
No chip shot for Paredes. Trying to make it an 8-point Stampeder advantage. Tate puts it down, and Paredes puts it through, and it is 24-16. Interesting matchup of offensive coordinators. Chuck Glenn used to work with Dave Dickinson and knew very quickly he had somebody special at quarterback.
But I do remember the conversation I had with Dave, and just looking at the defense one day, he says, you know, my first step, he goes, I saw the halfback kind of turn his hips, and I saw him take a step this way, and then I saw the corner doing this, and then the linebacker came underneath all this, and I'm thinking, okay, how did you see all this, you know? And it's just a testimony basically to Dave's film study, preparation, and great vision as a quarterback.
Jock does a pretty good Dave Dickinson.
He did, yeah, it was excellent. But that's exactly why Dave's a great coordinator as well. I mean, those guys that spend all that time studying the game, understanding the opponent, where to throw the ball, how to make those quick decisions.
Paredes kicks it off into the wind. You know, Stephen Miller wants to atone for the mistake. And he gets drilled before he gets to the 35-yard line. And that's Frank Beltre with the belt downfield.
You'd like to atone, but you can always tell after a fumble when a player on the very next time he carries the ball is very careful with it, and it takes away from your creativity offensively. So not a big return there from Miller.
So under 4 minutes of time with the wind at his back remaining for Brett Smith. Modest numbers so far, but coming off a touchdown drive on his last possession. Little pump and go. Wide open receiver. Down the sidelines. Nick Dembski cutting it back. And he'll get stopped just short of the goal line, but a huge play. 72 yards for the rookie, Nick Dembski. He might have his first CFL touchdown.
It's like a bust in the Calgary coverage. He is wide open. And one of the two ups up on the top of your screen here for the Calgary Stampeders have got to take the deep outside third in this coverage. And you could see he just shoots through both of them wide open.
Well, first and goal at the 3 with Messon in the backfield. They're going to throw. Dressler. Converting 2 consecutive times in the red zone, and now 2 points away from tying.
You know, we saw Tino Sunseri warming up a couple of series ago, and I wonder if Brett Smith felt like he had a little more pressure on him, had to go out and execute, make something happen for this offense, taking advantage of a bust in coverage for the Calgary Stampeders and capitalize with the throw to Dressler for the touchdown.
3rd touchdown of the year for Dressler, and now going for 2 and a tie.
Moving players around. the bye week, Saskatchewan started to move Rob Bagg from that wide side wideout into different spots. He got that from the slot and gets the assist here. Rob Bagg is going to get the rub for Dressler underneath. Bagg up the field, gets a little bit of a rub, opens up some space for Weston Dressler. 3 throws in a row on the money for Brent Smith.
Not only a big scoring drive, but they do it so quickly, they might get the ball back once again with the wind here in the third quarter.
Take a look at that long throw and the busted coverage. Dembski's inside here. Now you're going to see it's Brandon Smith, and up at the top is Joe Burnett. Now one of those two have got to take the deep receiver. Whether it's a man concept or a zone concept, obviously one dropped their guy.
Here's Tim Brown on the return. Up over the 40, and a good return by Brown to the 36 before Jeff Knox brings him down. This kid out of Manitoba has got a bright future. Nick Dembski.
Yeah, we saw some breakaway speed from Nick Dembski there. And a nice cutback. Dressler caps it with the touchdown. The assist goes to Rob Bagg. We got a game.
Not through 3 quarters yet, but in an 0-7 season, the Roughriders had led at the end of 3 quarters 4 times and been tied once. And they're tied here late in the third quarter. Walter upended at the 39-yard line, and he has 3.
Lee Jones reporting that he heard from the Calgary bench that Joe Burnett had made the mistake on the outside, that he was talking with Brandon Smith, and Mitch Stubler, the defensive coordinator, saying Burnett took the wrong guy. Dembski takes advantage of the bust.
Big play here, fans of Mosaic want their offense to get the football back in a hurry. Mitchell steps up and now rolls out. He'll run for the first down and step out untouched and got a big block at the end of the play. That was Anthony Parker who unloaded on a Rough Rider defender.
Yeah, that one was close. That's great run and first down by Bo Levi Mitchell. But that block borderline from Anthony Parker, that he didn't draw a penalty flag. It looked like to me that Mitchell was basically out of bounds.
Yeah. 51-yard line, a big first down to keep the football in Mitchell's hands. Inside to Walter, and he breaks through. Second level first down as Matt Walter punches it into Rough Rider territory.
Now, this is what good teams do. Good teams, after momentum has shifted, go right back out, business as usual, and try to regain that momentum. And that's what Bo Levi Mitchell is doing. He's just stepping back out, remaining confident, staying with the game plan, keeping Walter involved, and at least trying to take this crowd out of it.
Matt Walter out of the game now, but season high 66 yards.
That might
11 carries. And here's Harrison, and he is dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Well, he was the recipient of that Anthony Parker block, and Macho Harris steps up and makes a play defensively.
Yeah, it's done up defensively. Top of your screen, Macho Harris isn't there, but he's got some teammates.
Yes, he does.
Alex Hall
got there first. Final play here in the third quarter. 2nd and 14. Out of time, and an open receiver, and Mitchell's got McDaniel for a first down at the 31-yard line. So the end of the third quarter.
Any day.
In the Hall of Fame game, and the Rough Riders battling back here to get on even terms, headed to the 4th at Mosaic. But he paid more dues to get to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame than our next guest. Bob Obilovich, 50 years in the Canadian Football League as a player, a head coach, a GM, and the guy that brought the Grey Cup back to Toronto after a long, long drought. Bob Obilovich in the Hall of Fame. 1983 was a Grey Cup victory after they hadn't won since '52. Is that as special as it got for you?
Oh, yes, especially after we won and they had that parade downtown Toronto. I don't think they've ever had a parade for a championship team like that ever since. So if the Leafs ever win again, they'll probably be better.
What have you noticed that has changed in the game since the days that you were coaching, Bob?
I think the biggest thing, there's been a few things in the rules, but I really have seen a tremendous improvement in the Canadian content that the players on the Canadian side have just improved so immensely since when I first came into the league and it's made the game just that much better.
Torrey Harrison with the touchdown. We bring a Hall of Famer up, we immediately get touchdowns. That happened with Gene Mikowski as well, but the Stampeders have regained the lead here on that pass in the opening minute of the fourth quarter to Harrison.
Bob, I got a question for you with Dave Dickinson in a second, but let's take a look at what happened on this touchdown. You were in TV before. Let's analyze it together.
Well, it looks like the back came out of the backfield clean and nobody really picked him up, and the quarterback did a good job of getting it to him, and he just took it in for 6.
No rest on the former TSN panel analyst. Remember those days?
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
Extra point from Paredes. Does get through. And so it's a 7-point lead.
I want to ask you, though, you have a special relationship with also former Hall of Famer Dave Dickinson, something that I didn't know until I heard you in a radio interview recently. You knew his father.
Actually, his dad and I grew up in Butte, Montana together. We went to grade school and played, and then in high school together. And Dave brought up a point the other night, and I have to be honest, I didn't remember this, but he said they took his dad's knee out in grade school or something, playing football. And I said,
clearly his dad remembered, yeah.
He said his dad remembered, I didn't.
Hey, I'm old enough to remember you as a player, and some fans may have forgotten. You played a little quarterback, too. We actually shared the duties with Russ Jackson, or backed up Russ.
That's correct. When I first came into the league in those days, the backup quarterback had to be a starting defensive back. And Coach Clare had to make a big decision that year between Russ Jackson and Ron Kraft. Ron Lancaster is his #1 guy. And when he decided to make Russ the #1 guy, then Ronnie was traded to Saskatchewan. And I've always said that Ronnie was a little bit better quarterback than me, but I was a hell of a lot better defensive back than him.
And you had Don Southern back there, among other guys.
It's been a great career. I've enjoyed it immensely. A lot of great memories, and very, very fond of the Canadian Football League.
Big kickoff with the wind. Here's Miller on the return. Beltre slowed him up, and he gets brought down around the 15-yard line. We'll take another look at the Harrison touchdown. He's giving Calgary the lead.
Yeah, nice low-angle look here. So if you're a defensive back, you're seeing this. Torrey Harrison coming out of the backfield, and now you got to try to make this tackle as a DB in the open field, and no one close enough to get there.
Player, coach, general manager, Toronto, Hamilton, BC. Beyond once you left the football field, the highlight, I'm sure, was 83, but as a GM, did you enjoy that role?
Oh, yes, very much so. The personnel side of the job as a coach and general manager and player personnel, I really enjoyed looking for great little undersized players that were suited for our game, and bringing them into the league so they could entertain our fans and entertain me as well. I've had a lot of great players over the years and watched a lot of great ones since I've been in the league.
There's Cedric Minter in that memorable 83 Grey Cup victory.
Yeah,
winning as coach in Argo history.
Yeah, well, that was a good run there in Toronto, and I thought it was ironic today when George Reed presented me with my jacket. I thought to myself, that's the first time we've ever come together and it wasn't a collision.
2nd and 8.
There's a
collision. Brett Smith just gets taken down off the edge, pressure, and a sack by Brandon Smith. Halfback blitz gets home for the Stampeders.
Nice change up from the defense. Send halfback Brandon Smith. Bob, I want to ask you about the festivities. He's down at the bottom of your screen, number 28. But I want to ask you about the festivities this weekend and how you've enjoyed it and shared it with your friends and family.
Oh, it was great because my family was there to share it with me, and then two of my best friends in Ottawa, Whit Tucker and Gil Sikorsky, joined in on it and made it very, very special. And over the years, I just had so many great acquaintances and met so many people, and the CFL really has been my life, so it was very special. They did a great job and everybody enjoyed themselves immensely.
50 years, Bob. So well deserved.
Yeah. Way to go.
Congratulations to you, and great to have you here.
Yeah, it was good seeing you guys again. Keep up the good work.
Congrats.
Hall of Famer.
Not that bust.
Bob O'Billovich. Former by Purelator, tackling hunger, a promise we can all help deliver. 2-1 Roughriders in that department today.
One coming from John Chick, his 5th on the season.
Don Benamba, the newcomer, and it's the other Roughriders sack. You just saw Brandon Smith with an important sack for the Stampeders. Calgary takes over across midfield, and Matt Walter off the left side. Another good run for Walter, who has felt that if given the opportunity, he can handle the role, and he has demonstrated that today.
Well, it's been a while since he's been the feature back, where he has been getting up to 15 to 20 carries and 13 touches in this one tonight. Back in his days at the University of Calgary, probably the last time. He's spot duty for John Cornish when he's been injured, but had maybe one of his better games as a pro.
Back in his hands on 2nd and 2, and he's got a lot more than that. Dropped down at the 32-yard line, and Matt Walter has his sights set on a 100-yard rushing game.
And you know, I've said this about Walter. Every time I've seen him come in for Cornish or play spot duty here and there when Cornish is getting a rest on the sideline, that he's always come through. I mean, he's been more than a reliable player. I mean, this is a guy who, when he gets his opportunity, he doesn't look flashy, but he gets it done. And that's really all that matters.
Bo Levi Mitchell skips incomplete. We mentioned that stat earlier that is almost unfathomable. 2 takeaways all season for the Roughriders, and at this juncture of the game, going against the wind, it's something the Saskatchewan needs right now. Is a takeaway.
Yeah, you'd think it would come in bunches after a while. I mean, that you just get lucky and get a few even, but this is a Calgary team that doesn't turn it over, at least hasn't of late. Remember, 4 straight games with no picks from Bo Levi Mitchell.
2nd and 10, pressure on, and the screen busted up. Incomplete. Rory Conop in there to Bo Levi Mitchell, complaining it was pass interference, and our stats man John Russin is just clarifying they have given 1 takeaway to Saskatchewan on the 2-point convert today. It was officially ruled an interception.
Just Matt Walter getting tackled just to see the timing very close there from Rory Conop.
So Paredes from 40 yards out, trying to make it a 10-point lead, and he's got it. So it's a 2-score advantage now for Calgary with 10:33 left, 4th quarter. And we are at Mosaic. Sellout crowd, Hall of Fame game. Hate to see this. Micah Johnson, who has come back off 2 ACLs, has ice on the knee. We're not told how serious it is, but he will not return to the game today. Red Smith's got to make something happen against the wind. Takes off and finds some room, and a feet first slide, and flags will fly at the end of it, and Smith's been shaken up. It's a tough call, bang play as Smith declaring he's going down. But
yeah, like I don't think Jamar Wall, Chris, would get the penalty call here because Brett Smith didn't commit early enough to protect himself.
Major foul.
Feet first.
Unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 25. 15-yard penalty. And then automatic first down.
And then Keon Raymond gets hit into Brett Smith, and he gets the call when he couldn't defend himself. He gets pushed at the top of your screen here into Brett Smith, and that's the penalty for the hit on Brett Smith. They've missed a couple.
8th carry, 54 yards. A big break for the Roughriders that moves it down to the Calgary 46. Into the hands of Messam. And he gets going. Offside as a first down. Ushered out by Joe Burnett. Couple of chop steps until the hole opened up.
Well, he's done nothing but produce. I believe that's his 10th rush of the game.
73 yards, so right on that 7.3 average.
So it's the first time in 5 games he's got to double figures in carries.
85, the season high for Messam. Short drop, and Smith in some trouble. He is dragged down. Junior Turner will get credit for the second Calgary sack.
Turner and Derek Wiggan get a chance to tackles in the middle, getting after it, and take a look as they just nice twist in the middle.
And
Wiggins up with Turner.
I'll give Wiggin the sack, and that will be his first in the CFL. He's from Queens.
You've mentioned that school a couple of times.
Now Smith on second and long, and the pass incomplete. Dembski had a shot at it and couldn't bring it in. He was in first down territory.
Yeah, and that was a tough catch to make, but one that he had to. And that was exactly where Brett Smith had to throw that football. He didn't have a real big window to get it in there. See Jamar Wall hanging out, and inside Juwan Simpson inside out. So he had to put it in that spot, and that's one Dembski should have had.
So early on, looking to pin the Stampeders. Hangs up in the wind, and Tim Brown lets it bounce into the end zone, and try and run it out, or just try and run some clock down. And it's a single point, a 9-point lead, and a 45-yard single. Bo Levi Mitchell, that Hail Mary might end up being the difference today. He goes back to work with a Stampeder lead when we come back. New inductee in the Builder category for the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Our congratulations go to owner Bob Wetnall, owner of the Montreal Alouettes, and a man who really secured the future of football back in Montreal.
Saved it, really. I mean, there may not be football in Montreal without him. 10 first-place finishes with the ownership of Bob Wetnall. 8 cup appearances, winning it 3 times.
Unfortunately, not well enough to be here for the celebration this week. Hope you're feeling better, Bob, and congratulations.
And
did make a little bit of news this week, too.
Yes, he did. Firing of Tom Higgins, but, you know, sometimes we don't just say the simple words enough, and thank you to a great owner, the Canadian Football League in Montreal. Hope he is feeling better.
See Matt Walter check out after a 2-yard gain. He has one 100-yard game in his CFL career, 11 for 109 last November against Winnipeg. Second and 8. Here comes pressure, and Mitchell's going to throw it away. heat off the edge from Tyrone Brackenridge.
Well, that's the other part about moving Brackenridge closer to the line of scrimmage that can help Saskatchewan as the season goes on, is that he's closer on that blitz. He's a great blitzer when they send him after the quarterback, but when he was coming from the safety spot, he was too far back at times. Get him close to the line, he get there quicker, and he forces Bo Levi Mitchell to throw it away.
The first 2 and out in the second half for the Stampeders, their second of the game. Stephen Miller awaits as Maver gets set to boot. Ball is loose, scooped up, and it's a touchdown. Junior Murtile.
Carl Fitzgerald.
There's the turnover. Carl Fitzgerald, a newcomer, and in his first game, Junior Murtile, the recovery. And it's no longer a 2-score game.
He lines up right over center. And a nice move to get around Chevrier and then down Main Street and sells out right at the block point on Rob Maver.
Takeaways, turnovers, and special teams have been an issue here. That's the biggest play on the teams for the Roughriders all season long. Now to make it a 2-point game, and is it? Missed on the play, and that is the first convert missed by Paul McCallum in his career.
Had a streak of 801 straight converts. Now it changes this year being back as far as it is at 32, but
went for one to be 2 points down. Some will wonder, should you kick the convert from 32 into a stiff breeze like that? Could they have gone for 2?
But that had nothing to do with the wind. It looked like he just pulled it. But let's take a look once again at the block and the great rush from Carl Fitzgerald out around Chevrier. He steps to his left. Fitzgerald does a nice job of blocking at the kicking point, the block point on Maver. Not going to the punter, but going to where he's going to end up.
Another mosaic wash for Murtile, and it's a 3-point game as Early drives it downfield, and Tim Brown back across the 35. But a good return man all season long for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, and good to see that in the last couple of returns, he's running with the same aggressiveness that he ran with before the big hit he took. That clothesline early on. Great to see that he's fully recovered from it.
It's going to get loud here at Mosaic now. The 13th man will try and become a factor. And Bo Levi Mitchell will try and silence them. Take the over, and the out is complete, and there's Fuller on the sidelines. And Jeff Fuller has a catch and a first down for the Stamps.
Timing route by Fuller. He's in motion because he's got an end man covered on the line of scrimmage beside him in Eric Rogers. So he can go in motion outside, run that timing out. First down to start the series.
Great catch for number 3. 44 yards for Fuller on the day. First and 10 at the Saskatchewan 50, and Mitchell gets it away, and the ball is caught by Rogers. Levi Mitchell got drilled just as he released the football.
Yeah, it looked like he hesitated. Maybe it's been a coverage change that he noticed. But it was a delayed blitz. Coming from the top of your screen here. Delayed blitz coming through the B gap.
Corner blitz. Rodgers over 100 at 105. First down. And over the middle. Tyrone Brackenridge. Brought down by Parker. But suddenly there are turnovers created by the Saskatchewan defense.
Shows blitz, drops out of there, and gets underneath the throw from Bo Levi Mitchell. Tyrone Brackenridge in the first game at linebacker, making a difference. Anthony Parker tried to strip it out of there, but Brackenridge hangs on.
First interception in 5 games thrown by Bo Levi Mitchell. 3 in the first. Just his second in the last 7 games. So the Roughriders go to work. The hits to Wesley. Looking for a block and breaking it up defensively was Fred Bennett.
He's tackled by number 29, Jamar Wall.
That's the first interception in 198 passes for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Nice show blitz from the safety, and let's see if Brett Smith can do anything with the turnover.
Under 4 minutes left.
This is an area the Rider offense isn't used to.
2nd and 7, the 3 Canadian receivers wide side. Pressure on, ducked off underneath, and Ryan Smith has dropped the ball. It's picked off, and Keon Raymond picks it up, and he'll return the fumble for a touchdown. Well, let's confirm that Ryan Smith caught it. It looked like he had made a football move with the catch, which would have been his first. And this will be reviewed as a turnover. Doesn't have to be challenged.
It'll be reviewed, although Corey Chamberlain wanted to make sure it was and wanted to go and get the officials' attention. And the question is, did Ryan Smith have possession of the football on the throw and then fumble it, or is this ruled incomplete?
Hit there by Brandon Smith. And the ball popped immediately loose, and Keon Raymond right on the spot.
Coming from the bottom of your screen here, different angle. Now he's at the left-hand side, and
the ruling on the field is a completed pass followed by a fumble picked up for a touchdown. The play will be reviewed by the command center.
Play is being reviewed, and this looks tight. It was whether or not
that last view looks like he may not have completely secured the football. But the command center has one of its biggest calls of the season.
Yeah, it is a big one, and it's a tight one because while it did look like he made a football move, in other words, turning his head to look where to run, that last replay angle showed you that he wasn't sure that he had possession of the ball when he got hit.
Celebrations on the Calgary sideline.
After review, the pass was incomplete. It will be 3rd down, Saskatchewan.
Roughriders have life, and I thought that last replay was the look that makes it the right call.
That's right. The first 2 replays, it looked like he made the football move to turn and run with it, which would mean he had possession, but there you could see the ball was sliding up his arm on that last replay. And when he took the hit, he did not secure the football, so it's an incomplete pass.
First time they called his number today, and it became eventful for Ryan Smith. So early, picked a single the last time up. Looks more for a pin here inside the 10. Not a great kick. Enhance the Stampeders field position. It'll be a 15-yard penalty after just a 31-yarder.
No yards. Saskatchewan, number 25. 15-yard penalty. First down, Calgary.
Again into the wind, but just 31 for early. And this wind did not subside as it was suggested it might be.
And that was another play made by Tim Brown. He catch that ball in the air. Into the wind, it's tough. You're not really sure as a returner how deep to get. And he makes another play to catch it in the air.
Not much there at the 35-yard line. Let's give him 3. And we hit the 3-minute warning. It's going to go down to the wire, just like most of these Roughriders Stampeder tilts. Sellout crowd still anticipating that this might be the day, but it will have to be a comeback. 34-31, Calgary has the lead. Is a second down conversion machine, Markway McDaniel.
And the #1 receiver in the Canadian Football League with his targeted to catch differential coming in. He catches over 80% of the balls thrown in his direction.
Gets 60 yards today. Rogers, the favorite receiver at 105. First down at the 46, and again, Walter chewing up yards, and he gets to midfield and has close to 9 more.
Well, the key block by Pierre Lavertu, the center, gets out on the linebacker, Jeff Knox, and that's the difference maker. If you can get a lineman onto the second level, onto the linebacking core, you get a chance in the run game. Big 63 right here. He gets the block that gets Matt Walter up in there and gets the big game.
Puts him over 100, second time in his career. Big day for the Calgary Dino. Trying to surge for the first down. Looks like he's got it.
Big play by Matt Walter and Pierre Lavertu on first down. They get that great production, but also a wasted play to kill some time here. They get the first down easily on the short yardage situation, and now are back with a chance to run more time off the clock.
Under 2 minutes to go.
Rebuilding the offensive line, but they all just congratulated the center. That was big.
Bench calls for noise. Walter again, and look at him surge down to the 46-yard line. Jeff Knox the tackle, but
right down the middle, and this time Lavertu again with the double team block to his right. He goes there, little hook block here, and next thing you know, Matt Walter off to the races again. They're running straight down Main Street, attacking the heart of the Saskatchewan defense.
17 for 108, so he's 1 away. Matching a career best. Maybe here. He's got it. And a first down to boot at the 40. As they chew up yardage and the clock here at Mosaic.
This time Rob Cote's getting involved. Nothing fancy to this. This is just winning the line of scrimmage and the crucial point of the football game inside of 3 minutes. And chewing up the clock while you do it.
Today, and both have been productive, but it's Walter's game right now. It's stuff this Now Joe Harris at the bottom of the pile. Brings up 2nd and long, and a flag to stop the clock.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 50. 15-yard penalty. It will be 2nd down.
It's a late penalty, Spencer Wilson.
Yeah, Spencer Wilson. It was a late hit on Tyrone Brackenridge. I saw him get knocked right out of the pile there, and it was there he is right there. Spencer Wilson kind of cruising. Brackenridge standing there looking, and he gets blown out of there, and that's the late hit.
Probably takes him out of field goal range, at least for the time being. It sets up 2nd. Penalty. Tyrone Brackenridge sticks out the leg, and that's a costly penalty.
Yeah, it was a great cutback by Matt Walter. Brackenridge used his speed to cut him off, and had Walter turning inside where Brackenridge may have got some help, but as he
tripping, Saskatchewan number 41. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
Brackenridge trying to make the point that he reached back, but watch how on the cutback Matt Walter, he just throws that left leg out and trips him.
In behind, realizing how critical that penalty was. 2nd down over. Still got 14 to go. Interesting to know it. They'll try a field goal from there.
No.
Here's Walter, and Walter's going to get a 1st down. Excuse me, Harrison. Torrey Harrison with a huge 1st down, and that is likely going to seal the deal.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. And the strategy clearly from John Hufnagel and Dave Dickinson on back-to-back plays was to run the ball here because they felt they were in field goal range. Make it a touchdown difference between the two teams if they hit the field goal here, and they have to do that, but they get the 1st down anyway, and it should do it.
Saskatchewan.
Riders stop the clock. Even a single point likely would have been what they would have played.
Exactly.
Be up by 4.
Either way.
So, but
either way, but you run the ball, get 8 to 10 yards. Even if you don't get the 1st down, it's field goal range easily.
But to have them at 2nd and 24 and let them off the hook
no
is
question.
Another one of those sources of frustration in the little things that add up to what appears to be an 8th consecutive Saskatchewan Roughrider loss. Still haven't found a way. Well, again, the Stampeders pointing out the penalty, and you don't usually see that much emotion from the Hall of Famer.
He knew how important it was. Congratulations to Gene Makowski, Eddie Davis, Dave Dickinson, Bob Obilovich, Leroy Blue, Bob Wettenhall, and Larry Rita going into the Hall of Fame. Exciting game, down to the wire.
Certainly was, and a rewarding end of the week for Dave Dickinson in more ways than one. Victory formation, and the Stampeders have pulled it out 34-31, and they take over 1st place in the West with their 6th victory against 2 losses. The Nissan Titan Player of the Game brought to you by Nissan, the official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Right around the second quarter that Hall of Fame offensive coordinator Dave Dickinson started calling his number, and Matt Walter ended up with 19 carries, 114 yards as our player of the game. Had some key runs inside of 3 minutes. Did not fumble the football. Got it done. A career high for Matt Walter. Congratulations.
5-10 seconds while they wrap it up.
Career best for Matt Walter. The run game down the stretch, able to kill the clock for the Stampeders, and the frustration builds here as the Roughriders again, even through 3 quarters.
Well, it may have turned a little bit into the first half when Bo Levi Mitchell hit Eric Rogers on the Hail Mary.
A 6th consecutive game with a touchdown for Eric Rogers. And if you joined us late, final minute of the first half, the Roughriders looked like they were in field goal range, and they end up giving the ball back to Calgary, and the Stampeders, with a Hail Mary on the final play of the half, end up with a touchdown instead.
Congratulations to all the Hall of Famers. Well deserved. Great weekend for all of them.
Calgary next up will be in Winnipeg, while the Saskatchewan Roughriders travel to Ottawa. Be sold out at TD Place Stadium in the nation's capital next week. Again, a final salute to the Hall of Famers and the Hall of Fame style game. 34-31. The Stamps prevail and move into first in the West. So long for Mosaic. SportsCenter now.